Rizal's homecoming in 1896, the last in his life, was his saddest return to his beloved native land. He knew he was facing the supreme test, which might mean the sacrifice of his life, but he was unafraid. As a matter of fact, he welcomed it. Gladly, he desired to meet his enemies and to offer himself as a sacrificial victim to their sadistic lust and unholy designs, for he knew that his blood would water the seeds of Filipino freedom. The trial that was held shortly after his homecoming was one of history's mockers of justice. His enemies howled like mad dogs for his blood, and they got it, without benefit of genuine justice. Rizal left Dapitan exactly 4 months before his execution. During his trip for Manila, the ship went to different stopovers, namely Dumaguete, Cebu, Iloilo, Romblon, and Capiz. Rizal knew that his stay in Manila might be dangerous for him and for his family. As what he expected, Jose Rizal was summoned by Governor General Ramon Blanco. He was transferred to Spanish luxury steamship Castilla. On September 2, 1896, Jose Rizal was transferred to a steamship named Isla de Panay, which sailed from Manila to Barcelona, Spain. During his stopover in Singapore, Rizal noted that Singapore improved since his first visit in 1882. Rizal had already made a promise to Governor General Blanco to practice his profession in Cuba. Rizal did not know that he would be welcomed by arresting officers, and that would be a prisoner, not a physician, when he reaches Barcelona. The Isla de Panay reached Malta on September 30, 1896. Jose Rizal was advised by the steamship officials to stay in his cabin. The steamship reached Barcelona, Spain on October 3, 1896. At this point, Jose Rizal was already a prisoner for 3 days. On October 6, 1896, Rizal was advised by a military sergeant to pack his things. After an hour, he was transferred into a boat accompanied by military officials. Rizal brought to Hidalgo's Gispo House headquarters. The military commandant facilitated a short interrogation and interview session. Jose Rizal disclosed that the ship was full of soldiers and officers and their families. The prisoner's guard told him that they were ordered to prohibit anyone to enter his cabin or even talk to him. In this situation, Rizal was not just a prisoner, he was also a prisoner incommunicado. It was known to the Spanish authorities on board the colony that Rizal was keeping track of the daily events in his diary. They were, of course, curious as to what were recorded in his diary. Not only their curiosity, but also their suspicion was aroused. The Spanish authorities confiscated Jose Rizal's diary. The diary was thoroughly scrutinized for incriminating statements which could be used as a proof for his involvement in anti-government movements. The diary was brought back to him a few days after its confiscation. Dr. Antonio Maria Regidor and Sixto Lopez were both in London, sent a telegram to Hagford requesting him to file a writ of habeas corpus to rescue Rizal from the Spanish authorities. After the SS Colon anchored on the shores of Singapore, Fort immediately filed for the privilege of a writ of habeas corpus before the Singapore court. The motion was denied by Lionel Cox, Singapore Chief Justice, explaining that the Spanish steamship was carrying Spanish soldiers based in the Philippines. Rizal's preliminary trial began exactly 17 days after he arrived in Manila. The trial was facilitated by Colonel Francisco Olive, a military judge advocate. The purpose of his trial was to inform Rizal of his case, possible legal punishments, and charges. The preliminary trial was also conducted to give him a fair chance to answer the questions asked by the judge advocate. The investigation provided him the opportunity to meet the persons who testified against him. The arraignment marked the beginning of the military investigation on the complaints charged against Dr. Rizal. Rizal never questioned the jurisdiction of the court. Note that Rizal was not a military official, but he was tried in the military court. Rizal pleaded not guilty on the political charges pressed against him. The trial occurred at Cuartel de España, a military building, on December 26, 1896. Dr. Jose Rizal was accompanied by 2 soldiers. The trial of Rizal was an eloquent proof of Spanish injustice and misrule. More than a farce, it was patently a mistrial. Rizal, a civilian, was tried by a military court composed of alien military officers. His case was prejudged. He was considered guilty before the actual trial. The military court meant not to give him justice, but to accuse and condemn him. It accepted all charges and testimonies against him, and ignored all arguments and proofs in his favor. Moreover, Rizal was not given the right, which any accused is entitled to have in a real court of justice, to face the witnesses against him in open court.
Siguro expert yan na ba?
So, times 8 scope, tapos kape,
This is your
tapos
first time?
oh, first.
Laman na, party good. Party.
Huwag kang mag-smile. Time.
Unit siya. Ano mo?